A poor girl's brave moment in a CR revealed a hidden beauty that transformed a millionaire's life. In the bright afternoon sun, the quaint diner waited, a beacon against the endless Midwestern fields. Emily, a determined 17-year-old, poured her heart into each plate she served, where every sizzle told a story of struggle and hope. Working with her mother, she found solace in the symphony of daily chaos, defining her life through poetry scribbled on napkins. Just outside, a sleek, high-end car rolled to a stop, its polished surface reflecting more than just sunlight. It captured curious gazes from the regulars within the diner. Inside that vehicle sat Ethan, a young businessman cloaked in wealth and privilege, battling a hidden emptiness that lurked beneath his perfectly tailored suit. When his car unexpectedly broke down, he found himself wandering into the diner, seeking refuge. As the bell jingled above the door, Emily looked up, her heart catching in her chest as their eyes locked. In that moment, the world blurred, and a flicker of something profound surged between them, an unspoken connection that neither understood yet. With a warm, unassuming smile, Emily approached. "What can I get for you?" she asked, her voice bright with the kind of genuine warmth that could almost melt the steel gulf between their worlds. She served a simple meal, a bowl of steaming chili, crafted with love and seasoned with unwavering hope. Their conversation flowed seamlessly, laughter and clinking dishes blending into a melody that seemed to wrap around them. Ethan spoke of the pressures thrust upon him by family expectations, a lifestyle he felt suffocated by, while Emily shared tales of resilience, the weight of her mother's sacrifices lighting her eyes. That discussion, a reflection of contrasting worlds, left Ethan deeply moved. He saw the cracks in his polished life, a yearning for something real igniting a flame inside him. But soon, the tight rein of his upbringing drew him back in, a harsh reminder of the expectations clawing at his heart. The whispers of family disapproving of a common girl painted doubt across his brow, urging him to dismiss Emily as a fleeting distraction. And yet, her fierce spirit resonated deeply, challenging Ethan to consider a path away from privilege toward the unfiltered authenticity he craved. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the town festival bloomed with laughter and lights, the two found themselves at a crossroads of emotions. A misunderstanding ignited a confrontation, forcing Ethan to make a choice: his duty to his family or his heart's pull toward Emily. The very definition of success began unraveling in his mind, echoing through the crowded street. Was it truly about the wealth he had been taught to chase, or could it be the joy of sharing simple moments with someone who truly understood him? Amidst the sparkling chaos of the festival, Emily stood with her unwavering compassion, unknowingly transforming Ethan's world and those surrounding them. They found themselves on the brink of change, hearts racing as the weight of family expectations and budding love intermingled. Just as clarity dawned, an unexpected twist loomed large, leaving their futures veiled in uncertainty. Would they dare to pursue the love that could redefine everything they'd ever known? The festival lights twinkled above, the air heavy with the scent of caramel apples and laughter. Emily clutched her sister's hand tightly, heart racing with both excitement and anxiety. She noticed Ethan standing a short distance away, his gaze lingering on her, a mixture of determination and doubt swirling in his eyes. "Do you think he'll come over?" Sarah asked, nudging Emily with a playful grin. Emily's stomach danced, filled with the anticipation that had bubbled since their first encounter. She had spent countless nights dreaming of this moment, yet now, it felt daunting. "Maybe he just needs to decide," Emily replied, glancing back at Ethan. She could see the struggle on his face, divided between two worlds. Wealthy expectations weighed heavily on him. But something kept pulling him toward her, like a moth drawn to a flame. As the evening progressed, laughter erupted around them, drawing their attention back to the festivities. Emily fidgeted with her hair, stealing glances at the crowded food stalls that formed the heart of the festival. Yet her eyes always drifted back to Ethan, whose posture seemed more rigid than before, his eyes clouded with doubt. Just then, the loud thump of bass from a nearby band erupted, pulling everyone together, feet tapping to the rhythm. Sarah tugged Emily forward, urging her to dance, to lose herself in the moment. Emily hesitated, knowing Ethan still lingered on the fringes. A part of her felt absurdly aware of his presence, as if every twirl and laugh would be seen by him. Suddenly, she noticed Ethan moving closer, making his way through the throngs of festival-goers, his eyes intent on her. The music swelled as if the universe conspired to push them toward each other. Emily's heart skipped a beat, warmth spreading through her chest. "Hey!" he called out, raising a hand, his smile bright and wide, erasing some of the tension. "Hi!" Emily managed to reply, her voice nearly drowned out by the music. "I'm glad I found you," he said, breathless from weaving through the crowd. "Can we talk?" "Yes." The word slipped out before she could think, an affirmation of everything she hoped for. They stepped away from the dancing throng, drawn into a quieter corner where the festive noise dulled to a hum. "I've been thinking," Ethan said, gaze penetrating hers as if searching for answers deep within. "I don't want to just go back to how things were. I don't want to live a life dictated by anyone else's expectations." His sincerity struck Emily like a clear note in the cacophony around them. "Then don't. You have to choose your own path, Ethan. Your happiness matters." For a moment, silence enveloped them, filled only with the distant laughter of children and the soft sighs of a summer breeze. A weight hung in the air as if they both realized the magnitude of what lay ahead. "I want you to be part of that path," Ethan said, taking a step closer, vulnerability clear in his eyes. "But I don't know how to handle the backlash from my family." "Maybe you don't have to handle it alone," Emily suggested, her voice steady. "You're not the only one with a struggle." She thought of her mother, the sacrifices they made, and how love could be the bridge across any divide. Just then, a loud cheer erupted from nearby, breaking the intensity of the moment. They both turned to see fireworks bursting in the night sky, painting it in vibrant colors. The sound echoed like a promise bold, grand, and full of potential. Ethan's face reflected the shimmer of those fireworks, igniting something deeper within their fragile connection. "This is our moment," he whispered. But just as they seemed to inch closer to something beautiful, a voice called from behind, cutting through the magic. "Ethan! Get over here. We need to talk." His eyes darted to the side, uncertainty creeping back. The precious moment suddenly felt eclipsed. Emily's heart sank. Would he retreat again, or would he stand his ground this time? "What will you choose?" she breathed, the question hanging heavy between them, filled with hope and fear. Ethan hesitated, the weight of the world on his shoulders once more. She watched as that flicker of longing battled against the shadows of his upbringing. And in those brief moments, their futures felt intertwined, yet so incredibly fragile. Would Ethan dare to seize the chance for a love that could change everything? Ethan turned slowly, the call echoing insistently in the distance. That voice his father's. It thundered with authority, a reminder that he could never really escape his family's hold. Emily felt a shiver of unease. She watched the way his face hardened, the flicker of hope dimming like a candle flickering in a draught. "Go," she encouraged softly, though her heart clenched. Part of her wanted to grab his hand and pull him away, to step into the night together and forget the expectations waiting at home. Yet she knew that this was his battle to face. Ethan shook his head, conflicted. "I can't just walk away when they need me." The words slipped out, almost like a plea. "But what about what you need?" Emily pressed, her mind racing. "You deserve to fight for your happiness, too." For a brief moment, he held her gaze, searching for strength. Around them, the festival continued, laughter and music mingling with the brilliance of the fireworks above. Yet their world seemed to shrink, the sounds fading into a backdrop as if nothing existed outside of this suspended moment. Ethan stumbled, the weight of his family's expectations pulling at him like an anchor. I don't know how to break away. Emily took a step closer, feeling the heat radiate from him, the despair shifting from his body towards her. Maybe you just need to start small. One step at a time. Talk to them. Show them who you really are. The vulnerability in his eyes made her heart race. It wasn't just about decisions, it was about courage. You can do this, she said softly, her voice barely audible over the distant bursts of color. In that moment, the distance seemed to close. A flicker of understanding passed between them. The moment was electric, full of what could be if he could muster just a sliver of bravery. Before he could respond, the voice called again, sharper this time. Ethan. Now. He bit his lip, torn between the call of duty and the quiet promise of something extraordinary standing before him. Emily could see the fight within him, it flickered and dimmed like the fireworks in the sky. Finally, he breathed deep, the tension coiling in his body erupting with a decision. Okay, but I'll be back. His tone was resolute, a promise wrapped in urgency. I just need them to see me. As he turned, Emily felt a rush of gratitude and dread. She knew this was a turning point for him. A pivotal moment when he must redefine his future, but she also sensed the lingering doubt as he walked towards the voice. Could he truly find the strength to choose the path she hoped he would? The moment passed. She stood there, hunched under the stars, feeling a mixture of hope and uncertainty swelling inside. The festival continued around her, people celebrating, dancing, and enjoying the night. But for Emily, everything felt suspended. Suddenly, she felt a presence at her side. Sarah appeared, her expression a mix of curiosity and concern. What just happened? Ethan, he'll be back, Emily replied, forcing a smile even as her heart pounded. You think he will? Sarah nudged. What if his family doesn't let him? I want to believe. Emily trailed off, eyes on the twinkling lights. What if this was it? What if he couldn't come back? As the last of the fireworks faded, she could still feel the weight of uncertainty gripping at her heart. The festival felt less vibrant now, a shadow of what it had been a moment ago. But beneath that uncertainty, a flicker of resolve stirred. She took a deep breath, letting the cool night air fill her lungs. She wouldn't wait in silence. She'd be the sound that reminded him what he was fighting for. I will wait, she said firmly as Sarah took her hand, squeezing it reassuringly. And no matter what happens, I'll be ready for whatever comes next. For the first time, Emily felt a rush of determination. She'd stand by him, whatever road he chose. But just then, a surprise announcement blared through the festival speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special surprise guest. Emily's heart raced. Who could it be? Hope clashed with worry as she thought of Ethan. Still standing at the precipice of his choice. Would this surprise bring him back to her or lead him deeper into the shadows of his family's world? The crowd around Emily erupted in cheers, voices rising into the night air like a wave. Excitement sparked as people turned their heads toward the stage, eager to see who would emerge. Emily's heart fluttered, torn between the disappearing threads of Ethan's presence and this new distraction promising possibility. Who is it? Sarah asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. I don't know, Emily said, her voice barely a whisper. But I hope it's good. As the crowd surged forward, Emily stepped closer to get a better view. Beneath the bright festival lights, shadows danced among the revelers. Her mind was still heavy with thoughts of Ethan, wondering if he would keep his promise and return. Would this surprise pull him away? Or would it somehow inspire him to stand his ground? Suddenly, a figure stepped onto the stage. The crowd quieted in an instant, a collective breath held tight with anticipation. Emily squinted to see better. There, with a bright smile and an infectious energy that radiated through the space, stood Mia Perry, an up-and-coming pop star, known for her songs about resilience and self-acceptance. "Oh my God!" Sarah squealed. "It's Mia. She was just on that show last month." Emily knew only parts of Mia's story. A poor girl transformed into a superstar. She had experienced her own struggles with identity and obligation, refusing to let her past define her, just like Ethan. Would Mia's presence ignite something within him? Would he see that freedom was possible? As Mia began to sing, Emily felt the spell of the music wrap around her, pulling her into a world where dreams were tangible. The sound was electric, alive with energy. She could see people swaying, their faces lit with joy. Yet even as the crowd cheered, Emily felt a quiet yearning within her. Where was Ethan? The song ended, and Mia paused, her gaze sweeping the audience. "Hey everyone. I want to take a moment to talk about something important," she said, her voice warm and inviting. "We all have our battles. Don't let anyone tell you who you can or can't be." Cheers erupted again, but Emily felt the words settle in her heart. A reminder of Ethan's struggle, resonating in a way that made her skin tingle. The truth was out there, waiting for him, waiting to be claimed. As Mia continued to share her story of growth, of breaking away from expectations, Emily closed her eyes for a second, trying to imagine Ethan standing there, absorbing every word. She wanted to believe it could spark something in him, that he would find the strength nestled within the song. When the lyric flowed into the next, Emily opened her eyes to a new sense of determination. It was time for her to act. She turned to Sarah. "Let us find a way to get to him. I can't just wait any longer." "Are you sure?" Sarah looked hesitant, glancing from the stage to Emily's determined gaze. "I have to. He needs to see this. Maybe Mia's words will give him the courage to take that leap." Just as they turned to leave, an unexpected rush of noise erupted from the stage. Mia was yelling to the crowd, "I want to invite someone to join me up here tonight." Emily froze. Who is she calling? Suddenly, Mia scanned the crowd. Emily's breath hitched as she felt a surge of hope entwined with fear. Was it possible? Was she truly hoping for the unimaginable? Then Mia spotted her. "You, with the bright red shirt. Come on up." Every eye in the crowd moved toward Emily. She froze for a moment, disbelief washing over her. "Me?" she mouthed to Sarah, eyes wide. Sarah pushed her gently. "Go. This is your chance. Go." Caught between flight and fight, Emily's heart raced. She had no idea what was about to happen, but this could be the moment that finally bridged the distance between her and Ethan. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, heart pounding. Would climbing that stage lead her to find Ethan, or would it unearth even deeper uncertainties? As Emily climbed onto the stage, each step felt heavier than the last. The lights blinded her momentarily, every sound amplified. The crowd's cheers blended into a deafening roar, but within all that noise, her heart thudded loudly against her ribcage. She could feel every eye on her, watching, waiting. What was she doing up here? Mia extended her hand, her smile genuine and warm. "Welcome. What is your name?" "Emily," she managed to say, her voice shaky yet clear enough for the crowd to hear. "Emily." Mia echoed, her excitement infectious. "Well, Emily, I want you to share something with us today. It could be anything, your dreams, your passion, or someone who inspires you. The stage is yours." Emily's breath caught in her throat. A rush of panic surged through her. What could she say? What could possibly matter to this crowd? She thought of Ethan, the unbreakable thread that tied her to the unspoken words simmering inside her. In the moment of silence, a wave of courage washed over her. She suddenly realized that Mia was doing more than just inviting her up. She was giving Emily the chance to speak her truth. With trembling hands, she clutched the microphone and looked into the sea of faces. She hesitated, glancing to the side where the festival glittered under the night sky. I didn't expect to be here today. Just a few hours ago, I was waiting for someone who feels lost, someone who needs to see that there is hope. Mia's eyes sparkled with understanding. We all know that feeling. It takes so much strength to seek what you believe in. Yes. Exactly. Emily felt the words spill out. I just wish that person could see their own worth. I believe in them so much. I believe they can find their way. The crowd responded with gentle applause. It was a show of solidarity, and Emily felt their eyes encouraging her to go on. Sometimes, the hardest part is taking that first step. Sometimes it feels like you're drowning in expectations. But I think there's beauty in vulnerability, too. It's where we find who we really are. Mia nodded enthusiastically. That is so true. Vulnerability is where courage lives. Look at you, standing here and sharing your heart. It's incredible. Emily's heart swelled. I just hope he sees that he doesn't have to fight alone. That he's not just a poor boy with limits. Her own wish mingled with burning emotion as she spoke, driving the flow of her words. A murmur rippled through the crowd, and as more applause erupted, Emily felt a fire ignite within her. Mia beamed at her, then leaned closer to the mic. This girl is a star, everybody. She's got the spirit. Let us hear it for Emily. The crowd roared, and for a moment, Emily felt like she was floating. The anticipation, the fears, everything she had bottled up had escaped into the air, dancing away with the cheers. But just as the exhilaration began to settle, the realization struck her like a plunge into cold water. What if this clarity didn't reach Ethan? What if her words never made it to him? She scanned the crowd, seeking. Are you out there, Ethan? She whispered under her breath. Suddenly, a familiar figure broke through the edges of the throng. Emily's breath caught as she recognized him. Ethan stood at the back, eyes wide, taking it all in. He looked as if he were watching the world shift. But did he see her? Did he feel the call of her heart? As the last echoes of the applause faded, she stepped back, stepping away from the spotlight but stepping forward to him. Would he come closer? Or would he slip away again, lost in the shadows of his own doubts? All at once, the stage felt smaller, the moment stretched thin. Emily took a deep breath, standing on the precipice of possibility once more. What now? As Emily stepped off the stage, the air felt charged, like a storm brewing. Each cheer still echoed in her ears, a reminder of what she had just laid bare. She didn't know what she expected, but Ethan being there made her heart race. He hadn't moved. He was still standing at the edge of the crowd, motionless, like a statue against the vibrancy of the festival. Taking one hesitant step forward, she lost track of everything around her. The festival buzz dimmed and faded as she focused on him. Her mind was spinning with all the unspoken words between them, the things she wanted him to understand, the hope she held for him. Ethan, she called, the name tumbling out like a desperate whisper. She needed him to know he was the someone she had spoken about. He blinked, as though he had just awoken from a dream. It took him a moment to process her presence, and she saw his expression shift from surprise to something softer, vulnerability tangled with curiosity. Slowly, he began to weave his way through the crowd, inching closer with every stride. As he approached, Emily felt her stomach churn, a blend of excitement and anxiety. Would he understand the message she had tried to convey? Hey, he said finally, both simple and complicated, as if that single word contained all the hesitation and hope brewing in him. Hey, she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. The light from nearby lanterns flickered over them, casting a golden hue. People milled about, laughter mingled with ambient music, but they seemed locked in their moment. Ethan started, rubbing the back of his neck, a gesture that made him look younger, more vulnerable. I saw you up there. You were incredible. The sincerity in his eyes wrapped around her like a soft blanket. Thank you. I really wanted to reach you, wanted you to see what I see. She took a breath, feeling the weight of her vulnerability. You don't have to fight this alone, you know. I know it feels like a lot, but I believe in you. His gaze dropped to the ground, and for a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. I'm not sure I can change, he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. I've always been this. Emily stepped closer, her heart racing. She could see the hurt hidden beneath his guarded facade. But what if this can transform? She urged, her voice trembling with emotion. You are so much more than your past. You don't have to stay stuck in those shadows. He looked at her then, searching her face for traces of doubt, but all he found was earnestness. You really think so? He asked, a flicker of hope igniting in his eyes. I do. I mean it. A silence wrapped around them, heavy but expectant. In that moment, they were just two souls in a vast sea of uncertainty, seeking light together. But then, as if fighting an unseen force, Ethan pulled back, shaking his head. I have to figure this out on my own, Emily. I shouldn't hold you back. I'm just a poor boy with a lot of baggage. Don't say that. Her words broke through the air, filled with emotion. You're stronger than you think you are. He hesitated, eyes flickering between hope and despair. The festival light sparkled around them, a reminder that they stood in a world of possibilities. But would he step into that light or retreat into his darkness? Just don't forget about me, okay? He finally said, his voice low yet fragile, echoing the very doubts that had shackled him for too long. I won't, Emily promised, her heart swelling with determination. Never. As he turned to leave, a part of her yearned to pull him back, to hold on tighter. She could feel their connection shift, like a tightrope strung over a chasm of uncertainty. But would he find his way back, or would this be their moment of separation? With every step he took, the space between them felt like an unanswered question. Would Ethan grasp the chance before him, or would he let it slip away? In the distance, laughter echoed, but within her, silence loomed. What would Emily have to do to make Ethan see the beauty awaiting him? The vibrant sounds of the festival faded into the background as Emily stood frozen, her heart pounding against her chest. She felt the sun slipping away, the soft chill of the evening settling in. That moment with Ethan, so potent, lingered like a whisper in the wind, the remnants of unanswered questions gnawing at her. She glanced back at the stage, the bright lights now dimmed, and her fellow performers celebrating their hard work. They hadn't seen her pain, her struggle, the leap she had taken into vulnerability. Yet here she was, battling another kind of fear, the fear of losing someone she believed could rise above darkness if only he would trust her. Ethan's silhouette was fading into the throng, and she couldn't shake the feeling of urgency, a knot in her chest pushing her to chase after him. With one decisive breath, she dashed through the crowd, dodging laughter and conversation like a salmon swimming upstream. It felt as if she was moving against the current, but the determination to reach him outweighed her own doubts. Ethan! She shouted again, the crowd's noise swallowing her words, but she wouldn't let it drown her hope. She kept moving, her heart wired to his, pulling her closer. Finally, she caught sight of him leaning against a food stall, his hands tucked deep into his jacket pockets, staring at a wild array of lanterns strung overhead. A part of her wanted to pause, to absorb the sight of him, but another part ached for him to know he wasn't alone. Wait! She called out, and this time he turned, surprise flickering across his face. He straightened up, his wall of retreat falling just a bit, a glint of something in his eyes. What do you want, Emily? His question was gentle yet laced with frustration, like he was torn between wanting her to make sense of the chaos in him and the instinct to pull away. I want you to know you matter, she said, finding strength in her voice. I can't just stand by and watch you drift away, not when you have so much potential to shine. Ethan's expression softened, but shadows still lurked there, lingering doubts shadowing his vulnerability. Everyone thinks I'm just a mistake waiting to happen, he admitted. His words were raw, unraveling fears she knew all too well, fears that gripped her when she stood in front of that crowd pouring her heart out. But look at you, she exclaimed, stepping closer. Look at what you've already survived. You're not a mistake, Ethan. You're a fighter. He released a breath, one that trembled with uncertainty. It's hard. I've got a lot to overcome and I'm scared if I let you in too much, I'll pull you down with me. You think I can't handle your baggage? She challenged, her brow furrowing. I'm not looking for smooth sailing, I want the storm with you. We're stronger together. Let me be that light for you. Ethan's eyes glimmered, seeking her truth. Who knows? Maybe she saw something he couldn't see. But the fear of disappointing her stifled him, making him hesitate. Why would you want to? He asked, the question tugging at her heartstrings. You deserve someone who isn't so broken. Maybe that's true, she replied softly, but I also deserve to believe in something beautiful. And you, Ethan, you're beautiful just as you are. She paused, letting the words settle, hoping they found a place in his heart. The ambient festival music danced around them, but in this moment, nothing else existed. Ethan took a step forward, his walls trembling, then let out a shaky breath, struggling with his emotions. I don't want to hurt you. Then don't, Emily whispered, reaching out for his hand, wanting him to feel the warmth of her belief. But just as their fingers brushed, a distant shout pierced through, signaling the end of the festival. Suddenly, the moment felt fragile, as if the world around them was ready to burst into a million distractions. Emily pulled her hand back, a lump welling in her throat as reality threatened to pull them apart again. As she looked into his eyes, she saw fear mixed with a spark of hope. Would he let the light in, or stay cloaked in shadow? Could we talk more? He asked, vulnerability spilling through. Anytime, she breathed, the words racing out before fear could change her mind. But time felt cruel, pressing against them as the fun faded, laughter dwindling. Their connection was there, yet it teetered on the edge, waiting for either of them to cross the brink. Would Ethan choose the path of transformation alongside her? Or would their moment slip away like a fading star in a twilight sky? As the final echoes of laughter ceased and the vibrant lights began to flicker off, Emily felt the weight of the night settle on her shoulders. The festival was ending, but the swirl of emotions inside her was just beginning. She stood there, rooted to the spot, feeling the distance between her and Ethan stretch wider with every passing second. Ethan's eyes, once filled with uncertainty, now danced with an array of emotions, tugging at her heart. But just as she thought he might step closer, a surge of festival-goers broke through, laughing and chatting, blissfully unaware of the connection that was teetering on the edge of something monumental. Can we sit somewhere? Ethan's voice sliced through the noise, tentative yet yearning. Here, she suggested, gesturing to an abandoned bench tucked between two food stalls, its wood slightly damp from an earlier drizzle. He nodded, following her lead. They settled in, their space feeling electric, charged with unsaid words. Silence enveloped them, but it was different this time, thick with possibility. Emily stole glances at Ethan, each one revealing a little bit more of the man behind the shadows. His brow furrowed, his eyes flicking back to the people milling about, but she saw the shifting stillness in him, the crumbling of those forbidding walls he built so carefully. What are you thinking? She finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He sighed, a massive exhale, almost as if he'd been holding his breath since they met. I don't know how to be the person you see. I'm still trying to figure out if it's worth opening up, if I'm worth it. The innocence of his vulnerability struck her like a bolt. You're worth every good thing, Ethan. You just don't see it yet. He looked away, the flickering lanterns casting shadows on his face. But what if I fail? What if I let you down? Then we fail together, she asserted with fierce determination. Just because the future is uncertain doesn't mean we can't try. It's in the trying that we find ourselves. He lifted his gaze, the uncertainty giving way to a glimmer of hope. You really believe that? I do. It's the only way to growth, to be vulnerable and alive. His face transformed, a flicker of realization passing through his eyes. Maybe I've been too focused on the darkness, thinking it would swallow me whole. That's a common fear, but you'd be surprised by how bright a tiny light can be in the dark, she replied, matching his gaze with intensity. You've got to trust that light, trust me. At her words, something shifted in Ethan. He moved closer, their shoulders now touching, as if drawing strength from each other's presence. I wish I could see myself the way you do, he said, his voice barely a murmur. Then let me show you, she urged, feeling the warmth of excitement blossom in her chest. This journey, it's just as much about discovering who you are as it is about us. Let us take that leap together. Before he could respond, the night air filled with the sounds of distant laughter, slowly fading. But instead of feeling overwhelmed, they seemed to exist in their own little world, a pocket of understanding, of connection. Emily, he began, swallowing hard as if he was trying to digest the enormity of what she was offering. What if it's more than just us? What if? What if what? She pressed, feeling the tension rise, her heart racing with curious urgency. What if I want to believe? What if I want to try for us? He leaned in, sincerity flooding his voice. Their hearts thrummed in sync, the heavy silence stretching into something beautiful. But just as her heart swelled with hope, a sharp cheer erupted nearby, the last fireworks of the festival lighting the sky in a burst of color, breathtaking and sudden. Emily's smile faltered, her heart thudding in rhythm with the sparks above. She had waited for this moment, the moment of revelation, but there was still an underlying question hovering in the air. Could this really be the beginning? Ethan asked, his voice just below the flicker of excitement. And as the dazzling colors faded into the dark, Emily couldn't help but wonder, was this truly the dawn of something magnificent, or merely a moment lost in the night? Emily's heart was a drum, pounding so loud she was sure Ethan could hear it. The final sparkles of the fireworks flared and fizzled out, leaving behind wisps of smoke and a weight of expectation that hung in the air like magic. She wanted to dive into his words, to hold on to the sincerity emanating from him like the warmth of the fading lights. Can we really do this? Ethan's voice broke the spell. There was a tremor, just a hint of fear beneath his hopeful exterior. Of course, she replied, her confidence tackling his doubt. It's a leap, sure, but sometimes you don't know what you can catch until you jump. He nodded, looking back up into the sky, where the stars were starting to peek out, one by one. The laughter and chatter from festival-goers turned into a distant murmur, and Emily found solace in their bubble. Ethan turned to her, his expression as open as the night sky. What if there are more nights like this? More moments where I feel alive? Emily interjected, smiling. You deserve all the moments. Every single one. His gaze dropped to their joined hands, the brush of fingers sending a spark up her arm. It was electric, intoxicating. Promise to be patient with me? His eyes searched hers, wide and earnest, as if he was worried she might disappear with the stars. Always, she vowed, squeezing his hand. But as a cloud rolled in front of the moon, doubt crept in uninvited. What if this was all a dream? The kind that fades with the dawn. Suddenly, a loud voice broke through the night, shattering her moment. Hey, Emily. What are you doing over here? It was Sarah, her best friend, bouncing over with a bottle of soda in her hand and her hair glowing with excitement. Just talking, Emily said, glancing at Ethan, whose expression shifted from warmth to stark uncertainty. Oh. You two are so cute together. Sarah continued, grinning widely. But we've got to go. They're cleaning up. Come on, let us get a last picture before it's totally over. Emily looked back at Ethan, and for a brief moment, it felt like they were teetering on the edge of a cliff. A picture? It felt shallow against the depth of their conversation. Everything so raw and fragile trailed behind only to be captured in a single frame. "Why don't you go on ahead?" Ethan interrupted gently. "I'll catch up with you in a minute." His voice sounded steady, but she could feel the thrum of nerves beneath. Emily opened her mouth to protest, but he shook his head ever so slightly. "I need a moment." "Okay," she replied softly, knowing this was a test of sorts. How strong was this thread connecting them? As she followed Sarah back into the crowd, her heart tangled with uncertainty. Instead of feeling excitement, a sinking feeling crept into her chest. Was this the beginning or an ending? A loud cheer erupted as one of the festival workers began to launch a new batch of colorful balloons into the sky. People reached for their pockets, pulling out their phones to capture the moment. "Look at that." Sarah pointed, snapping a few shots. "It's beautiful." Emily forced a smile, her gaze drifting back to Ethan, watching as he remained on the bench, shoulders squared, deep in thought. Did he see the same beauty? The laughter and shouts surrounded her, but she felt an ache, the kind that came from leaving something behind before it had time to grow. Just then, a tiny girl ran past, her face lit with glee as she chased after one of the balloons floating higher and higher. "What if we get lost in the vapor of all this?" she mumbled, half to herself. "Emily! Come on!" Sarah called out, jostling her back from her thoughts. As they assembled for the photo, Emily struck a pose, but her heart remained tethered to Ethan. What lay ahead? What might this leap transform into? "Are you all set?" Sarah asked, reminding her of the moment. Emily took a breath, trying to focus. "Yeah, just a second." She glanced back one more time, her heart whispering, desperate for him to join, to leap, to believe. But instead, she found him looking at the stars above, as if he was searching for answers there, out of reach. Maybe she thought as she turned back to the group, her heart heavy and hopeful. Maybe this isn't just an end, but something greater waiting to unfold. As the camera clicked, she realized that sometimes it's in the waiting that we find the strength to push forward. But was Ethan ready to come along for that journey? The question lingered in the air as she took her place in the moment. Would this spark lead to a flame, or would it flicker out before they could catch their breath? The festival had come to an end, but the echoes of laughter and joy lingered like fireflies in a warm summer twilight. Emily stood under the canopy of stars, her heart racing as she searched the crowd for Ethan. They had shared something profound, a moment that felt electric yet fragile, and now the reality of separation loomed like a dark cloud on the horizon. Let us go." Sarah's cheerful voice pulled her back to reality, but all Emily could think about was Ethan. "Just a second," she called out, her eyes darting through the last few festival goers. The world felt larger without him by her side, the vibrant lights dimming as the magic of the evening began to fade. "Where are you?" she mumbled under her breath, her pulse quickening. She wanted him to find her, to know they could face whatever came next together. Just then, a familiar silhouette emerged from the crowd. Ethan. The air around her filled with a hopeful energy as she watched him walk closer, the uncertainty in his stride now replaced with a hint of determination. "Hey," he said, his voice steady, but the vulnerability still lingered in his eyes. "Hey." Emily felt her heart swell, her spirit lifting. "I was just me too." "I wanted to talk," he interrupted, his gaze locked on hers, the connection palpable. "I didn't want to leave without saying something important." "What is it?" she asked, breath catching in her throat. "I've been thinking, a lot. About us. About everything." His words flowed, each one heavy with meaning. "I always thought I had to conform to this mold that my family created. But now, after tonight, he hesitated for a moment, fear flickering across his features. Emily could see the storm inside him, yet she remained still, urging him with her silence. "I want to fight for something real," he continued, renewed vigor in his voice. "I want to fight for us. I can't promise it will be easy, there will be challenges from my family, for my own doubts. But I'm willing to try. Her breath hitched with emotion. Ethan, that's brave. I'm terrified, he said, swallowing hard. But I think your light has shown me a way through the dark one step at a time. As he held her gaze, the weight of their shared moments surged between them like a fierce current. You make me want to be a better man, to embrace every piece of who I am, not just the perfect image everyone sees. Emily felt tears prick her eyes, a joy that felt almost overwhelming. You are already so much more than anyone sees, Ethan. You're brave for even considering this, for stepping out of your shadow. A gentle smile broke through his uncertainty as he reached out, taking her hand gently, as if grounding himself in the warmth of her belief. I'm ready to fight and I want you by my side. She squeezed his hand, that connection electric, filling each of them with a sense of renewed purpose. Together, we can face anything. Just when they thought love would carry them forward, a voice called from nearby, demanding attention. It was Ethan's family, appearing like a storm cloud, an insistent reminder of the challenges ahead. There you are. We've been looking for you. Ethan froze, uncertainty creeping back into his expression. But this time, Emily stepped closer, speaking in a clear, determined tone. You don't have to run back to the shadows. You can stand your ground, Ethan. He inhaled deeply, meeting her eyes with unwavering resolve. You're right. No more hiding. Ethan. His father's voice rang out, drawing attention. We need to talk now. He looked back at Emily one last time, a promise shimmering in his eyes. Wait for me, he whispered before turning toward his family. Ethan. Emily called softly, frustration and anxiety bubbling within her. Would he let the weight of his family pull him away like so many times before? Ethan paused, his back toward her, feeling the pressure of his upbringing pressing down. But in that moment, she saw a shift. He straightened, determination fueled by her unwavering belief lighting his spirit. I'll be back. I promise, he declared, not looking back. Before he could be swallowed by the demands of his family, Emily felt a burst of hope swell within her. As he walked away, she whispered a silent prayer for strength for both of them. This was a start, a transformation carved out of love, vulnerability, and a willingness to face the unknown. And as the last of the festival lights dimmed, she knew this wasn't the end but a brave new beginning. Together they would carve their paths one of authenticity, resilience, and unfiltered beauty. With a heart full of hope, she turned toward the night sky, ready for whatever came next, knowing that love had the power to transform even the deepest wounds into strength. It was time to embrace their journey of love and healing, a story that was only just beginning. Now, if you loved this journey and want to see more incredible stories, you need to subscribe now, so you don't miss the next exclusive tales. Leave a like to show your support. Every click feeds the algorithm. Share your feelings in the comments. We want to hear how this impacted you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation. Your actions truly matter.